children, now it's time for general knowledge GQ. Till now we have done unit 1 and unit 2 and we are on unit 3. We have completed few chapters of unit 3 and few are left. Now today we will start from defending India. We have done from Great Mughals, page number 41. We will start Great Mughals, page number 41. So children, open page number 41 in your books. Great Mughals, page number 41. You must have heard about Mughals. First we will talk about Babur. Babur. He was born on 1483 and he died on 1530 and he ruled from 1526 to 1530. Zahiruddin Muhammad was popularly known as Babur and he was born in Fargana, Turkestan. He was a descendant of Genghis Khan and Temur. He defeated Ibrahim Lodi in Panipat, and I also belong to Panipat, and became the emperor of Delhi. He was a poet, musician and a great general. He was the founder of Mughal Empire in India. Who was the founder of Mughal Empire in India? Babur. And his full name was Zahiruddin Muhammad. He was born in Fargana, Turkestan. And he was born in 1483 and he died in 1530. And he ruled from 1526 to 1530. Now, Humayun. Humayun was the son of Babur. Humayun was born on 1508 and he died on 1556. And he ruled from 1530 to 1540, then again from 1555 till 1556 for 1 year only. Nasiruddin Muhammad, popularly known as Humayun, was the son of Babur. He was neither a gifted general nor a wise statesman. He was dethroned and driven out of India by Sher Shah Suri. So he wandered homeless for many years. Humayun reclaimed the throne in 1555, but he died a year later when he fell down the steps of his library. Humayun was the son of Babur and he was born on 1508 and he died on 1556. He ruled from 1530 to 1540. Then he was thrown out of India by Sher Shah Suri. Then again he ruled from 1555 to 1556 and he died in 1556 because he fell down the steps of his library. Then Akbar. Akbar was born in 1542 and he died in 1605 and he ruled from 1556 to 1605. Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar was one of the greatest emperors of India. He was proclaimed king when his father Humayun died. He was only 13 then. Akbar was only of 13 years when his father Humayun died. He founded a new faith called Din-e-Ilahi, means divine faith, and built a new capital at Sikri, Fatehpur Sikri, near Agra. He built the Red Fort in Agra. Then comes Jahangir. Jahangir was born in 1569 and he died in 1627. He ruled India from 1605 to 1627. Muhammad Sultan Salim, popularly known as Jahangir, was the son of Akbar. Jahangir was known for his good sense of justice. He married Noor Jahan, who became so powerful that her name appeared along with Jahangir's on royal coins and seals. He built the famous Shalimar Bagh and Nishad Bagh in Srinagar. Then after Jahangir comes Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan was the son of Jahangir. He was born in 1592 and he died in 1666, and he ruled from 1627 to 1657. Prince Khurram, the son of Jahangir, proclaimed himself Emperor Shah Jahan, meaning king of the world. He built the Taj Mahal. You must have seen Taj Mahal, and Taj Mahal is in Agra. Shah Jahan built Taj Mahal in the memory of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal. In memory of his beautiful wife Mumtaz Mahal. He also built the Jama Masjid and the Red Fort in Delhi. Then comes Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was the son of Shah Jahan. He was born in 1618 and he died in 1707. And he ruled from 1658 to 1707. Muhyiddin Muhammad, known as Aurangzeb, the son of Shah Jahan, defeated his three brothers to ascend the Mughal throne. He assumed the kingly title of Alamgir. He built the Moti Masjid in the Red Fort and the Badshahi Mosque in Lahore. So, great Mughals. Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire in India. Then comes Humayun. Humayun was the son of Babur. Then, after Humayun comes Akbar. Akbar was the son of Humayun. After Akbar comes Jahangir. Jahangir was the son of Akbar. Then Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan was the son of Jahangir. Then Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was the son of Shah Jahan. Clear? Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. I hope Great Mughals, the chapter Great Mughal, all the Mughals are clear to you. Then comes page number 52. Then children, open page number 52. Conserving wildlife. Conserving wildlife. Conserving means saving wildlife. As I told you in earlier chapter also that many animals are in danger. They are in danger of becoming extinct. So we need to save them. In this chapter, I will tell how to conserve animals. Wild animals are a part of the wealth of any country. The government has set up wildlife sanctuaries and national parks to protect a variety of animals and birds. Now, first is Chilka Lake Bird Sanctuary. This bird sanctuary is located in Odisha. Chilka is the largest saltwater lake in Asia. This sanctuary preserves one of the largest flamingo breeding colonies in Asia. Chilka Lake Bird Sanctuary, and it is located in Odisha. Then comes Corbett National Park. It is in Nainital. Corbett National Park was established as Heli National Park in 1935. It was first renamed Ramaganga in 1954 and the Corbett in 1957 in the memory of Jim Corbett. The Corbett Park is well known mainly for the protection of the tiger. Then Kanha National Park. Kanha National Park is located in the state of Madhya Pradesh. The government started Project Tiger at Kanha and the area was declared a tiger reserve in 1974. Kanha is also the habitat of Barasingha deer. Then comes Kaziranga National Park. This beautiful sanctuary is situated in central Assam. It is home to the famous and rare one-horned Indian rhinoceros. In 1974, Kaziranga was declared a national park. The park has deep forest, tall elephant grass, rugged reeds, marshes and shallow pools, which are perfect conditions for rhinoceros to live in. Then comes Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary. Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary is located in Kerala. It preserves a large population of the Indian elephant. So, first I told you about Chilka Lake Bird Sanctuary and it is in Odisha and it protects large large flamingos. Then comes Corbett National Park. It is in Nainital. It is near Nainital and it protects tiger. Then Kanha National Park. Kanha National Park is in the state of Madhya Pradesh and it protects Barasingha deer. Then comes Kaziranga National Park. Kaziranga National Park is situated in central Assam and they protect rhinoceros. Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary, it is in Kerala and they protect Indian elephant. Then offbeat. In a sanctuary, hunting is prohibited but cattle grazing is allowed. While in a national park, all human activities are prohibited. So what is the difference between sanctuary and national park? In sanctuary, hunting is prohibited but grazing is permitted. But in the national park, all human activities are prohibited. Then brain gym. Brain gym, children, what you have to do with brain gym? Brain gyms you have to do yourself at home. But I will read. Namdapha National Park is situated in which state? Then Wild Air Sanctuary is situated in, you have to name the state. Then comes, after conserving wildlife comes Kerala, 57, page number 57. Now open page number 57, Kerala. Kerala is one of the most beautiful states in India. It is so beautiful that people around the world call it God's own country. Kerala is located at the Malabar coast of southwest India. Its boundary touches Karnataka in the north and northeast, Tamil Nadu in the south and southeast, and the Arabian Sea towards the west. Thiruvananthapuram is the capital city of Kerala. Kochi and Kozhikode are other major cities of Kerala. Most of Keralites speak Malayalam. Keralites like to eat rice and fish. They love to drink coconut water. Kerala is a popular tourist destination for its backwaters, yoga and Ayurvedic treatments. Kovalam is the most beautiful beach in Kerala. Mannar is the famous hill station in Kerala. Onam is the biggest festival of Kerala. It is the harvest festival of Kerala. World famous snake boat races are held on this festival. Sabarimala temple and Padmanabha Swami temple are main temples in Thiruvananthapuram. So, Kerala is one of the beautiful states in India and the capital city is Thiruvananthapuram. Onam is the harvest festival and snake boat races takes place at the time of Onam. People celebrate Onam with lots of joy. And people speak Malayalam. And what is their staple food? People in Kerala like to eat rice and fish. And they also love drinking coconut water. Now comes political parties, page number 58. As you all know that India is a democratic country. We all are free here. India is the largest democracy in the world. There are a number of political parties here. Some are national while others are regional parties. Here is given short description of some political parties. Indian National Congress INC gave prime ministers Jawaharlal Nehru, Lal Bahadur Shastri, Srimati Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Narasimha Rao, Manmohan Singh. And now who is the Prime Minister of India? Mr. Narendra Modi. And he is from which party? He is from BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party. Other great leaders given by Indian National Congress. सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल, गोविंद बल्लभ पंत, सोनिया गांधी. Now Bharatiya Janata Party BJP gave Prime Ministers Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Narendra Modi. Other main leaders are Lal Krishna Advani, Arun Jaitley, Sushma Swaraj, Rajnath Singh. Then Bahujan Samaj Party BSP, founded by late Mr. Kashiram. Miss Mayawati is the supremo of this party. Then AIADMK, All India Anna Dravid Munitra Kazhagam, founded by M.G. Ramachandran. Its main leader was Miss Jayalalitha. Now she is late Miss Jayalalitha. She is no more now. Communist Party of India, Marxist. Main leaders Prakash Karat, Sitaram Yechuri. Then Trinamool Congress, founded by Miss Mamata Banerjee, CM of West Bengal. Now you have to write the name of party below each symbol. First symbol is of BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, lotus. It is the symbol of BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party. You can write in short BJP, but all the letters should be in capital, B capital, J capital, P capital. Then comes, this is the symbol of INC, Indian National Congress. You can write INC, Indian National Congress. Then comes symbol elephant. This is the political symbol of BSP, Bahujan Samajwadi Party. And who is the supremo of this party? Miss Mayawati, BSP. Then last one is Communist Party. Last one is of Communist Party. Communist. You can write the spellings from your book only. COMMUNIST, Communist Party. So all these symbols and information about political parties are clear to you. Now last, know your train. Know your train. After this chapter, our third unit will be complete. Then in next video we will start new unit. Now page number 62. Open page number 62. Know your train. You all must have travelled by train and enjoyed also. So now let's check whether we know about train. Know your train. Fill in the blanks. The train gets stationary and waits for passengers to get on and off at. On and off at. The passengers get down and they board from station, platform. The train stops at particular station and the passengers get down and they board. Station. And they are two on platform. Then the driver of the train has to wait for the dash to give him the signal for the train to move. Who gives the signal to the driver? Green, red, guard. Guard gives signals to the driver. Okay, who gives signal to the driver of the train? Guard. While traveling, you must carry an dash card, identity card. You must carry an identity card, or in short we can say I card. Many trains have a dash card where meals and snacks are prepared. That is known as pantry card. P-A-N-T-R-Y, pantry card. Pantry card is a place in trains where meals and snacks are prepared. Then, the person who checks your dash is TTE, and TTE stands for Travelling Ticket Examiner. Means the person checks your ticket. So you You must not travel without ticket. Everyone should have a ticket. Then, a passenger with RAC written on the ticket may board the train. It stands for reservation against cancellation. Means reservation against cancellation. The full form of RAC is reservation against cancellation. Then, now choose the correct word to fill in. You should board the train only if you are holding a dash ticket, confirmed or valid ticket. Valid ticket means your ticket should be valid. It should be proper. If you are holding a ticket for express train, then you can board on express. If you are holding a ticket for passenger train, then you have to board on passenger train. So your ticket should be valid. Then, children between the age of 5 and 11 should travel on a dash ticket, half ticket or part ticket. Half ticket. They are charged half ticket. They travel on half ticket. Then, dash citizens who are 60 and above pay a reduced fare. Important or senior? Senior citizens. People above the age of 60 are known as senior citizens. So, they pay a less fare. Senior citizen. Then, children below the age of 5 can travel free without a ticket, but they are not allowed a seat or berth. BERTH, berth. They will not get a seat, or it is also known as berth. BERTH, berth. By paying a premium means extra amount. By paying a premium at the ticket counter, you can purchase a train ticket the day before you travel. This is called dash scheme, special scheme or Tatkal scheme. This is known as Tatkal scheme. TATKAL, Tatkal. They can get a ticket one day before, and this is known as Tatkal ticket. So, children, what you have to do, today I have explained these, I have explained you 5 chapters: Great Mughals, Conserving Wildlife, Kerala, Political Parties, and Know Your Train. So you have to complete these exercises in your book, and you have to do the brain gym. Revise the work done, complete your exercises, and now our 3 units are complete. Next 3 more units are left that we will complete. 1 unit we will complete in next video, and we will complete our first term syllabus in 2-3 videos. Okay, so what is your homework? Your homework is to revise all these exercises, copy down the answers, and that's all for today. Have a nice day. Bye bye, and don't forget to study and complete your work. Okay, children, bye bye.